God. So let's do this. Let's give ourselves permission in so many ways on all levels to let go of our beautiful physical world life. And so we start with our beautiful body and we just pick it up in some weird and wonderful way. We embrace, we pick up, we connect with our beautiful physical body. And we ask it to relax and to release. We ask that anything that we are holding on to, any tightness, any tension, just anything that is being held onto, held back, all of the wonderful ways that we try and hold life together, we are asking ourselves on all levels in this moment to relax and to release, to let go. And as we experience our body just softening, relaxing, maybe letting go of any tension around our eyes, in our cheeks, in our shoulders, as we experience this relaxing, this letting go in our body, we can't help but also feel that letting go in our mind, just letting go of any mind chatter, stories, busyness. Just letting go of absolutely anything that we're tracking or holding onto in the mind. And also setting a clear intention of relaxing and letting go of anything that we're holding onto in our emotions, in our unconscious, in every level of our beautiful being. And in service to this, we anchor a conscious, clear intention of the highest good. As we just let go of our beautiful life in this physical world so that we can fall back more fully into love, into that connection that we have within ourselves. We anchor this experience into an intention of the highest good. We are here to experience that truth of love, that bigness of love, that healing, that rewiring that does come with love. And so we anchor this session and we anchor this day and this life into a clear intention of the highest good, of continually expanding more fully into love, into all that our huge heart is calling us into. And so as we just allow ourselves to breathe and relax and fall as fully as we can into our love, into this beautiful experience that I'm just calling within for this moment. We're letting go of the world without. We're letting go of the physical world, our jobs, our people, all that we're responsible for. We're letting go of absolutely everything in this world. And we're allowing ourselves to fall, to embrace all that's within. And in service to this experience, I am going to just give our beautiful heads a little bit of information so that it can really also let go and fall more fully into our heart. But we now know that it is love and compassion that is what our beautiful neural nets need in order to rewire. And we are here in this moment to do whatever we can to truly allow any part of us that's holding on, that's holding back, that's tight, to truly relax and release. And so in service to this, we are anchoring just a little bit of information, and that is that in order to neurologically rewire those beautiful patterns, those beautiful pathways that do create our beliefs, our thoughts, our actions, just how we live in this world, we need two things in order to rewire any pattern that might be stuck, any pattern that might have been created out of protection or out of fear, out of an energy that's less than love. And those two things actually are very well summed up in the phrase from Drs. Ron and Mary Hulnick, and that is that healing is the application of love to the places that hurt. So relational neuroscience is now suggesting that we need both to have the courage to feel whatever is not working in our life. Maybe there is a disappointment. Maybe there is just a little lack of complete relaxation and joy. But wherever our challenge is being found in life, wherever that trigger is, we simply have to have the courage to feel it, to learn a little more fully about what is its embodied response. In that disappointment, is it that kind of knot or that like kind of kick in the gut? Are we just a little bored maybe, and there is a bit of tiredness in our shoulders? Is the trigger more when we're standing in our truth? There is a tightness, a scratchiness in our throat. So we're going to be playing with how do we allow that embodied response, that trigger, just to be present? Do we have the courage just to allow it fully into this present moment? And then we get to, yeah, you guessed it, we get to love it. We get to have compassion for it. We get to be with it. And we are now learning neurologically that if we can simply give it what it needed at the time, but it did not get, and hence it created a pattern of survival and protection rather than trust and expansion. If we can be aware of what does that physiological trigger need, and can we flood that with that experience with love and compassion, the neural pathways in our brain do start to reconfigure. So we're going to do that right now. And we're going to have the courage to allow a moment from our life just over the last little bit. It could be the last couple of days, the last couple of weeks, or the last couple of years. But just allow a moment where your peace was disturbed, where you felt hurt or negative in some way. It could be a disappointment, it could be a frustration, it could be big, it could be small, but just allow whatever moment of hurt, of upset that you have experienced in your beautiful life over the last little bit, just have the courage to let it into your consciousness, to be aware of it and to feel it in this moment. Let yourself just drop fully into your human and be aware of what was that physiological response. What happened? Did your shoulders all of a sudden contract? Did you experience like a deep kind of like abyss, a black hole of nothingness in your stomach? Was it like you were so frustrated that there was like fire coming out of your eyes? Doesn't matter what it is, but have the courage just to allow a moment of pain, a moment of hurt, a moment of negative emotion into your body in this moment. And do your best to resist going into your head and being aware of the story. We don't need any of the story. But will you allow yourself to feel that and be with that, at least for a small moment? And you can become aware that maybe there is some resistance that you are feeling to truly allowing this experience. And you can just be aware of the resistance. Thank the resistance for trying to protect you. But just let yourself know that you are safe, you are loved in this moment. And you can let go of the resistance to feeling this experience. So just roll out the welcome mat. Accept and embrace whatever sensation, physiological response is present in your body in this moment. And as you do that, also be aware that the higher and greater part of you is listening. There is a part of you that naturally holds and observes and is with you. So as you're aware that part of you can feel that tightness in your stomach or that anger in your eyes, whatever that hurt or upset is, become aware in this moment that another much greater part of you is with you, is listening, is holding, is profoundly loving and caring for you also in this moment. So we are here in many ways to bridge this beautiful human experience with who we really are as love, as the divine. And so we're here to build those muscles of being able to drop into our beautiful human feelings and then lifting into the truth of this essence, this energy that is always listening, is always holding, is always compassionately loving just the challenges that we have as a beautiful human. And so as you lift fully into that loving, into that compassion, just be aware that you have the ability to send this part of your body love. You have an ability to have compassion, to have understanding. Let go of any part that would want to fix or change or tell this part what to do or maybe what it's not doing, but just rather be with it. Have compassion for it. Have understanding that it's hard being human sometimes. We get frustrated. We get sad. It's a part of who we are. Good luck avoiding those experiences. It's what we've come to experience. But be aware of from who you really are, that huge heart, that you can flood that part of your physical body with love, with compassion, with the hugest hug, with a bit of, I'm sorry you're going through this. I'm sorry, I love you, I'm with you. And so now we're going to drop back more consciously into the feeling, into the hurt, into the upset, focusing on that physiological response. Is it a tightness in the stomach? Anger in the eyes, maybe heartache in the chest? And you may be aware that it's actually moved a lot already just in rolling out the welcome mat. A lot has actually lifted perhaps, but just keep holding with that physiological response and ask it now in this moment, what do you need? And let your body respond. Not your mind, not what you think you need or how to change the situation or what to do in the world, but ask that pain in your stomach or that anger in your eyes, that tension in your shoulders. Ask your body, what do you need? And let it respond. And usually it's pretty easy for the part of us that's listening and loving us to be overwhelmed with a willingness to be the one that gives us that we need. And the more that we do this work, the more that marriage, that loving, that relationship within works like that. So that will happen over time But if what your body needs isn't something that you feel you can give yourself, sometimes as we start to do this work, some part of our body does feel like it needs something in the physical world. I need the person that hurt me to get his. I need that to in somehow be different in the physical world. And if that's the experience that you're having, ask that part, what experience is it that you're actually wanting with that? If that person gets his, or if something's changed in the world, what will you then be allowed and able to feel and experience? So just really open to the experience, the feeling that this part of your body needs. And it is a bit of a spoiler, but pretty much 10 times out of 10, what these parts need are love, are acceptance, are to be seen and heard and so profoundly loved. So whatever unique version of that your beautiful body needs, it's now the time to lift into who you are as love, as your huge heart. And can you embrace this beautiful part of your body? And it might help to relate to this beautiful part of your body through your 5-year-old self. Can you just pick up this beautiful feeling, this beautiful little part of you? And can you love it? Can you in some way say, I'm so sorry you're going through this. Yeah, I hear you. You need whatever it is. And I've got you. And we are so good at flooding others with this energy, right? And we can measure this energy with an EKG machine, this energy of loving, of compassion. It's a thing. It gets measured. And it's a magic trick to learn how to turn it within and to flood our beautiful human body, the parts of our psyche, the parts of our human that need it. So can you just spend the next couple of minutes flooding your beautiful human with whatever it needs, with love, with acceptance, with being seen and heard and validated and honored? Whatever it is for you, we're just going to have a couple of minutes of silence to actively flood ourselves with that energy that we need. And just being aware of whatever is present in this moment. And as we shift our focus slightly from in the foreground, more being aware of filling ourselves with loving, can we drop into our beautiful human and be aware, was our stomach, was our 5-year-old, was our beautiful human able to let that love in? Does it now feel a little more seen, a little more understood, a little more full of whatever it genuinely needs? Just be aware of that. to complete and wash, cleanse this experience with a clear intention of the highest good and with a little bit of self-forgiveness. So we're simply going to say, I forgive myself for buying into the misbelief that, and we're going to complete it however just naturally, instantly flows out of our consciousness. So you're all muted. You can say this out loud if you like, or you can do it inwardly. But just for a minute, we're just going to say, in support of rewiring neurologically, I forgive myself for buying into the misbelief that I am not worthy of being seen and heard. I don't have anything good to say. I forgive myself for buying into the misbelief that people don't love me and people don't respect me. I forgive myself for buying into the misbelief that, and then just complete that however flows freely out of your consciousness. We'll have just a minute to do that a few times. And so bringing that final statement to completion and completing with, and the truth is that I am. And the truth is that I am whatever just naturally comes full and present, and continuing to roll through that statement. And the truth is that I am so worthy of love. And the truth is that I am whatever is present. So now completing this, just see your beautiful human being lifted in some way into your heart, into your loving. And we do consciously ask that anything that has been lifted, any loving divine support that can continue to support us in truly rewiring from fear, from protection, from smallness, through to expanding into what we came in with, which is unconditional love, which is expansion, which is big, brave, bold, beautiful energy for living life, for sharing, for receiving, for experiencing. And so we do ask through this intention of the highest good that anything that has been lifted or shifted be done in grace. And we thank ourselves. We thank our human. We just thank ourselves so fully. So in this moment, I'm going to ask that we all truly give ourselves as much gratitude and compassion as we can for being human, for going through the many challenges that come with being a beautiful human. And we also, together, we thank ourselves for awakening to who we truly are as this big, bold, unconditionally loving heart. Just thank you for awakening into the bigness of who we really are in this life at this time. Alrighty, so that is the meditation complete. I am going to be showing up every Thursday at 10 a.m. Pacific just to lead us in a beautiful meditation that continues. There are different tools and techniques, but in some way it will be some version of how do we allow these two key pieces that we now know neuroscientifically that we need in order to actually rewire. And we now know that old psychology of, oh, we just need to be aware of the correction, try and mentally change ourselves, basically say, this is wrong, do this, actually holds that pattern to us. We actually just need to be seen, to be loved, to have compassion for the challenge, and that actually love will do the rest. So thank you for all the kind words. Just thank you for showing up, everyone. It's so lovely to feel your energy and just to enjoy this process for myself as well. In future weeks, I will have a little more time and we can have questions and maybe chat a little more about the science and just about what I'm learning with PESI. But that's going to be it for today. I love you all so much. Have beautiful weeks. Just thank you for all the comments.